It wasn't the best match for Manchester United, to say the least. In this game they were completely blocked and closed down by Arsenal players. This is also confirmed by the statistics where the Red Devils had only 5 shots in the whole match. 2 of them were on target compared to 14 shots by Arsenal. Did Manchester have a chance to threaten Arsenal? Let me explain. Manchester United were set up in the 3-4-2-1 formation with 2 players in the number 6 position, Ugarte and Bruno Fernandes, who played a bit deeper than usual. They were responsible for supporting the 3 defensive players and creating offensive opportunities, but they were unable to do so. In the attacking position, Arsenal were very high up, with 3 attacking players and 2 midfielders, so they covered almost all the corridors. On many occasions, Manchester were forced to drop lower and play with Onana because there was no way to get through Arsenal defense. Why was it like that? When the league had the ball, the only passing option was Dalot on the right, when Martinelli went lower to cover Dalot and all passing options were close, so the only option was to play back to the league and Onana. Then Havertz, who covered Ugarte, went to press the Manchester goalkeeper and there was only one free player, Ugarte. But the direct pass was impossible because Havertz was cutting the passing line. So the only option was to play in a triangle with Dalot or Mount. Playing to Dalot was very risky. Arsenal even scored a goal, but there was an offside. So the best option would be to pass to Mount. However, finding a free player was very difficult for Manchester United. When the Red Devils were higher up on Arsenal's half, it was almost the same. Even though Dalot was the only uncovered player, when he received the pass, Martinelli would immediately run to him, blocking his passing line forward. The only option was to pass the ball back to the league and try to build the attack from scratch, which often ended in losing the ball. Arsenal did everything to pull the Manchester United defense to the side. Here we see how once again 5 Arsenal players go high to press so as to block all passing possibilities. Eventually Manchester lost the ball under pressure, and this image perfectly shows where the ball should be played. On the right side there is uncovered Dalot, who has a lot of space. With a good through ball he would probably even be able to go one-on-one with the goalkeeper. In the next situation, Arsenal again pulls the Red Devils to the side. 4 Arsenal players versus 3 Manchester United players. Mazraoui plays in a straight line, and look where the free player is and how much space he has. Once again, an unattended Dalot has no opponent next to him. One long pass opens up the possibility for a quick attack. 2 times Manchester wanted to use the solution in which Garnacho went low to get the ball. In this way, Timber left the defense line and there was space for Mount and Malacia to run into. This time, none of them exploited the gap. They took advantage of it later. Garnacho went back again and Malacia used the space. However, Manchester only once made this rotation, not many for 19 minutes. Another thing is the long balls played by defenders. Look how much space there is between the defender and the first line of defense, almost 12 meters. The league is not attacked. Is this a good moment to play a long ball? Not really. Martinelli, who is responsible for the left side, can easily come back and help Zinchenko in defense. It looked completely different on the Arsenal side, where the long ball was played to Saka in such a way that he only had one-on-one with the defender. What's more, the ball is played into free space, not to the player. Liverpool do the same, making great use of Salah by playing long balls into free space. And how did Arsenal build their attacks? They were constantly rotating in defense and midfield. When Zinchenko moved up, Partey would drop low, creating 4 defense who had advantage over 3 offensive players of Manchester. And there was always one player free to play. Saliba moves up, Partey would drop to the defensive line, and this rotation caused the Manchester players to lose coverage and a gap was created in the middle of the field, which in this situation Zinchenko exploited. Partey would drop down again, Kivior is free, Zinchenko is free, and in this way Arsenal built their positional attack and moved to the Manchester half. When there was no high pressure on Arsenal defenders, then Partey would move into the number 6 position and Odegaard would drop to the side, which allowed them to easily bypass the Red Devils' offensive line. Or Odegaard would drop into the number 6 position and focus all the attention on himself. This was a sign for Timber to move forward and create an advantage. Arsenal had a lot of this solution. Constant rotation allowed them to get out of the pressing and create offensive situation. And Mikel Arteta must be praised for that. Although none of the offensive situations were covered into goals, it allowed them to score 13 corners, 2 of which ended up in the back of the net. Arsenal corner kicks are starting to become legendary, and this man, Nicolas Jaubert, is becoming the king of set pieces. As for Manchester, I didn't see any plan from them to threaten David Raya goal. Ruben Amorim was clearly devastated with the play of his players, who probably did not quite do what the Portuguese wants. But changing the coach, changing the formation will surely take time for the team to get used to it.